Hey everyone, Bob here. Today, the topics that I would be discussing would be about logistics strategies, supply chain management, and value chain analysis. Supply chain management is critical in the business if the organization is into farming or agricultural to manufacturing processes and all the way to serving the customers. The organization need to improve the chain if one wants to be successful in this nature of business. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this presentation. It has been said that logistics is the backbone of the supply chain. If an organization wants to be successful in this business, formulation of logistics strategy must be put in place. A logistics strategy is a set of principles, attitudes, and driving force that guide the coordination of plans, goals, and policies between the partners across the supply chain. Supply chain management is the integration of all the functions across the supply chain, that is, from external suppliers, outside contractors, farming or agriculture, tactical and strategic planning, human resource, procurement, inbound logistics, manufacturing, outbound logistics, product development, distribution, sales, customer service, and the most important of all, the customers and the consumers. There shouldn't be broken chain, especially the cold chain of the cold products. In other words, there should be chain and integration, and there shouldn't be weakest links. By having these principles of the supply chain, effectiveness and efficiencies will be higher. Cost of production will be lower. Customer service will be greater. Therefore, bottom line will be greater, and this translates to cheaper price to pay for the consumers. Thus, I would say competition is no longer between rivals or companies, but rather between supply chains. Logistics strategy is ensuring the management principles in terms of the optimization of workflow of business, in terms of planning, implementation, warehouse operation, inventory management, MRP, services and information. Logistics operations tend to focus on the manufacturing process or production efforts. Value chain analysis is the evaluation of the operating procedures, methodologies, and activities of value chain to understand where opportunities for improvement and product value adding. One concept that Michael Porter has brought to a wider audience is the value chain. Competitive advantage cannot be understood by looking at a firm performs in designing, producing, marketing, delivering, and supporting its product. Each of these activities can contribute to a firm's relative cost position and create a basis for differentiation. The value chain disaggregates a firm into strategically relevant activities in order to understand the behavior of costs and the existing and potential sources of differentiation. A firm gains competitive advantage by performing these strategically important activities more cheaply or better than its competitors. Value chain activities can be categorized into two types: primary activities, which are inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and service. And support activities are infrastructure, human resource management, technology development, and procurement. These support activities are integrating functions that cut across the various primary activities within the firm. Competitive advantage is derived from the way in which firms organize and perform these discrete activities within the value chain. To gain competitive advantage over its rivals, a firm must deliver value to its customers through performing these activities more efficiently than its competitors or by performing the activities in a unique way that creates greater differentiation. The source of competitive advantage is found in the ability of the organization to differentiate itself in the eyes of the customer from its competition, and secondly, by operating at a lower cost and hence at greater profit. Organizations realize that logistics strategy is integral to corporate goals and vision when we consider the need for sustainability to be built into business. All of these issues are capable of quantification and measurement against customer requirements. Similarly, they are all capable of comparison against competitive performance. It must be recognized that from the customer's perspective, there are only two levels of service, either 100% or 0%. In other words, either the customer gets exactly what he or she ordered at the time and place required, or they don't. Logistics is essentially a planning orientation and framework to create plan for the flow of product and information. Supply chain management builds upon this framework and seeks to achieve the links between processes from the farms, suppliers, to customers or consumers. One goal of ACM is to reduce the inventory, thus reduce cost and improve efficiency. This is achieved by coordination and sharing information on demand and stock levels. Thus, the focus of the management is achieving integrated supply chain. So, supply chain is a network. They say customers don't buy products, they buy benefits. The product is purchased not for itself, but for the promise of what it will deliver. Benefits could be tangible or intangible. For example, it could be the way the product is packed, the appearance of packaging materials, which is attractive and durable, the sensory department, which is doing a good job by making the taste superior against its rivals. Another added value is the logistics and supply chain, the handling of products, the excellent services given to customers, or the company's image and reputation. Value chain is all the activities, efforts put into the products, that is, the sourcing of the raw materials, design, marketing, production, logistics, deliveries, and the customer relationship management to support the customer, prior sales, and after sales service. The source of competitive advantage is in the ability of the company to differentiate itself in the eyes of the customer from its competition and by operating at a lower cost and at greater profit. And the basis for success in the market and the model is based on the linkage of the company, its customers and competitors, or the three C's: the customer, the company, and the competitor. In addition, the quality of materials and finished products, the work methodology, the standard operating procedures, and the technologies being utilized. The only standard to be achieved is 100% conformity to customer expectations. This requires a clear and objective understanding of the customer's requirements. At the same time, places an obligation upon the supplier to shape those expectations. In other words, there must be complete match between what the customer expects and what we are willing and able to provide. What are the customer service elements for which standards should be set? Some of the key areas where standards are essential are order time cycle. This is the elapsed time from customer order to delivery. Standards should be defined against customer stated requirements. Stock availability. This relates to the percentage of demand for a given line item or stock keeping unit, or SKU, that can be met from available inventory. Order size constraints. More and more customers seek JIT or just-in-time deliveries of small quantities. Do we have the flexibility to cope with the range of customer demands likely to be placed upon us? Ordering convenience. Are we accessible and easy to do business with? How are we seen from the customer's viewpoint? Do our systems talk to their systems? Frequency of delivery. A further manifestation of the move to just-in-time is that customers require more frequent deliveries within closely specified time windows. Again, it is flexibility of response that should be the basis for the performance standard. Delivery reliability. What proportion of total orders are delivered on time? It is a reflection not just of delivery performance, but also of stock availability and order processing performance. Documentation quality. What is the error rate on invoices, delivery notes, and other customer communications? Is the documentation user-friendly? A surprisingly large number of service failures are from this source. Claims procedure. What is the trend in claims? What are their causes? How quickly do we deal with complaints and claims? Do we have procedures for service recovery? Order completeness. What proportion of orders do we deliver complete? That is, no back orders or part shipments. Technical support. What support do we provide customers with after the sale? If appropriate, do we have standards for call-out time and first-time fix rate or repairs? Order status information. Can we inform customers at any time on the status of their order? Do we have hotlines or their equivalent? Do we have procedures for informing customers of potential problems, stock availability, or delivery? Value stream mapping is a lean management tool or analytical tool that uses a process flowchart documenting steps in the process. Value stream mapping is being utilized especially by manufacturing, logistics, and supply chain management to identify workflow processes, waste, study the time and motion to reduce process cycle times, and implement the improvement that sustain the continuous improvement as mostly championed by the quality system and quality assurance leadership. VSM is a workplace management efficiency tool designed to combine processing steps or procedures with information flow. VSM is an essential analytical tool for an organization drives to improve tactical and strategic planning, implement action plan, and continuously improve processes. VSM will implement the lean tool, thereby maximize available resources to ensure efficient and effective use of materials, time, and efforts. IPPC, or Inventory Planning and Production Control, is the heart and soul of the manufacturing process. They decide on the amount of the materials to be procured. Thus, they raise the alarm for the rebuffing of inventory. This is very critical for sustaining the working capital. IPPC drives the manufacturing in terms of strategic, operational, and day-to-day planning. They are in coordination with sales division on the sales demand and decides on the volume to be produced by the production people. The training, competencies, and efficiencies are critical functions for the success of the operations of the business. If you want to improve all areas of the supply chain, you have to start with the contractors and suppliers. The first thing that you have to do with suppliers should be to establish a supplier and contractor accreditation procedure. The accreditation procedure will ensure that existing and new suppliers are in compliance with standard requirements of the company. The suppliers are having the knowledge and the technical aspect of the type of materials and their specification, so the standard and the quality of materials to be supplied are sustained, and that the supplier is familiar with the company's processes as well as the nature of business, so that they are aware of the needs of the company in terms of materials requirement. The areas to look at during the accreditation process are their performance history, financial capability, experience, insurance, and evidence of training and certification. The review should also include the farms, if the company requires farming raw materials or grain materials, raw milk or broilers from poultry farms. We have to look at the material handling systems. Do we have improvement in terms of methodologies or standard operating procedure? Do we take advantage of the advent of new technologies? Do we automate or implement automation of the entire process? Do we have like robot pick and place? Is our warehouse operation has also implemented automation like automatic storage and retrieval system, or ASRS as an example of our pallet racking system? If we say yes to all of these, then we have greatly improved in terms of efficiency and effectiveness, or OEE, overall equipment effectiveness. There will be lots of waste eliminated by doing automation. Another area that we have to review and improve is the processing in manufacturing. There should be continuous improvement in terms of wastage of materials and time. That's why we also need to implement automation of processing. By right-sizing demand resource, human errors will be minimized. Automation will eliminate wastage of materials and mitigate risk, thereby avoiding accidents and incidents and physical injuries of workers. Company will maximize production output, reduce production cost, and maximize profit. Packing lines or packing machines operation will likely improve by automation. Waste of packages will be minimized, and also the rejection of finished products. Some machinery and equipment is quite helpful, such as conveyors, robots, shrink wrapping machines, and others. It is critical that shipping should be reviewed too. Logistics, warehouse operation, transport and fleet, and distribution or shipping is quite a huge operation where huge savings from improved efficiency can be achieved. Distribution and logistics is one of the 7 ways identified of the lean management, which they usually call transport waste. D&L cost will translate into about 30% reduction COGS, or cost of goods sold. And most importantly, we need to look at improvement of our customer. This is also part of where we can add value in terms of service and provision of after-sales service and technical assistance. That's why we need to implement the VOC, or the voice of customer. This is from Six Sigma philosophy. By doing so, we'll be able to hear the customer complaints, thereby improve our customer relationship management, or CRM. Customers, especially the consumers, are important to us sellers. Otherwise, company will not exist or will not make profit. We should also include the continuous improvement of the farming or agriculture aspect of the business. If we want the SCM performance to be looked at, this area should be included in the improvement areas. We should analyze what area of improvement to be actioned. We can no longer rely on manual handling and continuously doing manual works in the farm, like most of the laborers are doing in the farms. We need to adapt to new ways and take advantage of new technologies. There are lots of machines and equipment we need to acquire and operate in order for us to be more efficient in our farming operation. And we just need to invest on this equipment. And one of them is the tractor. Tractor is common in farms, used for delivery, a high tractive effort, slow speeds for hauling or rigging trailers or machines used in agriculture, mining industry, and in construction industry. Cultipacker is an equipment that crushes dirt clods, removes air pockets, and presses down small stones, forming a smooth, firm seedbed. Another equipment is harrow. This is used for surface tillage and used after plowing for breaking up and smoothing out the surface of the soil. Another one is land imprinter. It's a no-till device for establishing grass cover in environments and deserts. A plow is a farm tool for loosening or turning the soil before sowing seed or planting. Cultivator is used secondary tillage. A roller is used for flattening land or breaking up large clumps of soil, especially after plowing or disc harrowing. A strip till is a conservation system that uses minimum tillage. It combines the soil drying and warming benefits of conventional tillage with the soil protecting advantages of no soil by disturbing only the portion of the soil that is to contain the seed row. Planter is a farm implement usually towed behind a tractor that plants seeds in rows throughout the field. Seed drill is a device used in agriculture that sows seeds for crops by positioning them in the soil and burying them to a specific depth while being dragged by a tractor. Manure spreader is used to distribute manure over a field as a fertilizer. Grain chart, or rather grain cart, is a trailer towed by a tractor with a built-in auger conveyor system, usually with a large capacity. Grain dryer is a process of drying grain to prevent spoilage during storage. And lastly, combine harvester, or simply called combine, and most popular of them all. It's a machine designed to harvest a variety of grain crops. The name derives from its combining 4 separate harvesting operations, which are reaping, threshing, gathering, and winnowing, to a single process. Crops harvested with the combine are wheat, rice, oats, rye, barley, corn or maize, sorghum, and soybeans. So if you want to be successful in the ECM, think about what I have presented. Think about investing in those equipment and machineries. You should analyze your problem and solve your problem if you want to be successful. So if you like what you see, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And thank you for watching.